Hello and welcome to Argonne. My name is Justin Bro with Argonne's Communication and Public Affairs Department, and I am elated to be standing next to Dr. Donna Strickland, the 2018 winner of the Nobel Prize in Physics for her work in chirped pulse amplification, which is very cool. So Dr. Strickland has a full itinerary on her plate today, and she's going to be touring our facilities at Argonne and talking to a number of our researchers. But we got a few minutes with her to ask her a few questions. So what do you think? You want to?
Let's go.
Ready to go? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so my first question for you is, what is it about science that makes it so important? You know, obviously we work in a scientific facility, and to that point, why is it important for us as people just living in the world to have a basic understanding of it?
There's a few things. I think it's science that will always drive the economy. The newest jobs are always going to come about because of new science discoveries leading to new applications. So I think in these changing times, and I think going back hundreds of years, people always talked about them being changing times, you want to stay current, and to stay current, you need to know some science. But also, you know, the world we live in, you know, we have to understand that the environment's a concern, and citizens, we have to know that we want to make decisions about how we live our lives. I think it's best if we understand the science. I'm worried about the anti-vaccinators. It's not that vaccines don't carry some risk, but if people had better understandings of statistics, they would understand the risks, and they should be listening to the scientists who are giving their lives to understanding these things. So that's why science is important.
That's what I would say as well. So my next question for you is, a recent Pew Research Center poll finds that the more educated you are, the higher you score on questions of science, which sounds logical, right? Okay, right. So, but there are a fair number of people that didn't get STEM degrees. So my question for you is, how do we bridge this scientific knowledge divide between those who didn't get STEM degrees and those that do?
I think that's a tougher question. I'm talking to people about science communication, and first, scientists have to become better communicators, right? So we can't just use our scientific side of our mind. We have to use the communication side of our mind as how to do it. But I think we're going to have to talk to social scientists and say, usually when we give talks, it's already to the people that are pre-selected to say they like science. The question is, how do we get the people who say they don't like science to come and hear what we have to say? And I don't have an answer yet, but hopefully we find that way to make it more fun. But I also think that from children on, the parents have to start reading to them, and they have to be reading science to them, or taking them to the museums or whatever, or just taking nature walks and just marveling at how incredible our world is.
Very important. Very important. I personally love museums, and Chicago has a great number of them. Many people know that you were awarded for a Nobel Prize along with your colleague or doctoral advisor.
He was my advisor, yes.
Gerard Moreau?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the?
Maru.
Okay, so I'm losing my French here, that's fine. So you got the Nobel Prize in Physics for chirped pulse amplification. So we just talked about the importance of scientific literacy. So can you spend a couple of minutes explaining what a photon is and how harnessing this knowledge has affected our lives?
Okay, so through the centuries, people kept wondering, is light a wave or is light a particle? And it turns out that it's a little bit of both. It's like wave-like particles, or I've heard hairy particles or whatever, but it is an individual particle of light. It's the minimum unit, energy unit of light, but it still is a wave. So it's sort of just this wavy particle thing.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Amazing. And so why do we need to know about it? I mean, really, those of us who work in optics will tell you that the 20th century was the century for electronics. This is the century for photonics. And that's because nothing travels faster than light. And so it's amazing that it's everywhere. It's either scanning your things in your grocery store, to moving the data around in these great big data centers, to, you know, doing communications, sensing the environment. They're everywhere, and we need to know about them.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for your time. I know you got to run because you're going to tour this wonderful advanced photon source we're here. Yeah, so thank you, Dr. Donna Strickland, for joining us, and thank you for joining us today.